Well, the Australian Defence Force has mobilised a new COVID-19 task force to assist the government response to the crisis.
Defence personnel and the Army have been called up to lend a hand, led by Lieutenant General John Fruin. He joins us now from Canberra. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Now, you lent a much-needed hand during the bushfires.
Currently, I'm unemployed, so it's just a bit heartbreaking.
Big challenge, tough enemy, but we're really enjoying the opportunity to be able to be amongst the people and reassure the people and to help out where we can.
Well, the ADF is right now preparing to put boots on the ground in aged care centres to get Australia's vaccine rollout back on track. Private aged care facilities have banned visitors to try to protect their residents. Defence personnel will arrive in Victoria in the coming days as authorities bolster military support on the state's COVID front line. What jobs have your troops been assigned to? There's a huge problem at the moment, as you would know only too well, with contact tracing.
Soldiers will be boosting security at hotels to make sure there are no breaches to the quarantine system. Others will be involved in logistics at COVID-19 testing centres.
Good evening. Hundreds more Defence Force troops will soon be flying into Melbourne to back up and expand our embattled hotel quarantine program.
The Army's small role is expanding.
We're now in this terrible situation that those of us who know what's going on have no mechanism by which to reach the people. Because I know the day will come when they will realise that they were misled and that they might have saved themselves. They might have saved their children's happiness and hopes. But that moment was lost because they didn't hear a correct description of what was happening at the right time. They keep people in line, it's like when you have to herd a flock of sheep down a road and into a gate. You've got to have somebody standing just beyond the gate to turn them in. And that's basically what you have. You have the chief shepherd and the proxies who keep everybody in line. And then we're headed towards the gate to hell. They feel, I suppose, that they're putting one over on their enemies. But ultimately, they're putting one over on themselves because it's only a matter of time as to when we arrive at critical mass, there are enough people to say enough already. The issue then is, will they have managed to lock the doors before that moment arrives? Will they have managed to actually imprison us all in their new paradigm? They are on the wrong side of history. Clearly, they're taking the side of the most powerful, richest forces on the planet against the ordinary people. Because if there is an accurate, truthful history, they will be regarded as an utter disgrace. Media is really, it's over. It's really over, and it's impossible to imagine how it could ever be resuscitated, how you would ever restore any kind of ethicality to the existing model of media.
What we're going to do, and this has happened the last 3 or 4 days to be proven up, when they are telephoned again within a 2-hour period. If contact cannot be made with them via those 2 telephone calls in a 2-hour period, then ADF and authorised officers will be deployed to go and door knock those people. So one of those 300 people who's tested positive today, they are telephoned and to conduct that interview on their doorstep, as opposed to doing it over the phone. It goes without saying though, if you were door knocked and you were not found at home, then you are in breach of the orders because you are a positive case and you should be at home. So that would almost certainly lead to you being fined. ADF, an authorised officer, so Victorian Public Health staff, visit you and you're not at home. They'll continue to keep visiting you, but you'll have some very clear explaining to do as to why you are not at home, isolated, as you should be, because you have tested positive. This is a really important feature of our partnership. It does mean that members of the Victorian community, particularly across Metro Melbourne and Mitchell Shire, will see more and more members of the ADF moving around doing this important work. It is a very important task. It's not about those positive cases.
Today
Today, over 100 ADF personnel have arrived from 3 brigades in Townsville and also from RAF Base Sale to assist with hotel quarantine in Victoria for international arrivals. This makes it over 10,000 ADF personnel who have assisted states and territory governments this year with COVID-19.
The Australian Defence Force has begun administering second doses of COVID vaccines in regional New South Wales this weekend as part of a region-wide blitz. Defence Force has taken over 2 Tasmanian hospitals forced into lockdown.
The Australian Army will take to Sydney streets, assisting police in locking down 2 million residents in COVID hotspot suburbs.
That human society will not allow you to destroy it in this way. This can never be repeated. That those who have done these things can never, ever again be treated as normal. Most people, pretty much everybody, trust the world because they have to. They trust the signs and the news bulletins and the headlines and the journalists. And I have to say, I think that in a general kind of way, that was valid approximately until about a few years ago. For me, it only became unbearably impossible in 2020. It just became so clear that this was completely bogus. They just went too far for me. People I worked with are still out there, and they clearly are in the business of constructing pseudo-reality now. And they're clearly in the business of lying to people and of denying they're lying, which is another layer of lying. This is like misleading people to such an extent that is now actually for a lot of people has proved fatal.
I mean, but in the end, what you had a 1,000-bed facility which opened just a couple of weeks before mandatory quarantine ended. We've now got this facility there. Has there been much discussion about what the government's going to do with the facility?